in NXOpen and you are not yet learning the tools within Visual Studio that can help you learn yourself most of the stuff into the coding. It is not just learning about the APIs and it is not just learning about the programming, but you also need to learn some of the basic important things inside Visual Studio that can boost your learning experience. Yes, here I am talking about one of the important learning tool, which is setting up a breakpoint in Visual Studio. Actually need to use Visual Studio for writing your code. Maybe you are writing your code from scratch. Maybe you are copying the code block for somewhere else and you wanted to test it. You have to use Visual Studio for that. Now, once you are into the Visual Studio, your code is into the Visual Studio. Breakpoint is something that is going to be a very useful feature for you. The breakpoints are the is a feature when you know the line of code or the section of code that you want to examine in the detail at runtime. So breakpoint is something where you wanted to examine that code of line. So how you put the breakpoint, let me show you. So let's see, this is my code and I wanted to put a breakpoint because I wanted to examine that particular line. So this is a code and I can go on and let's say this is an important line I wanted to examine. So I can go and click here to add a breakpoint. So you have to see that this particular gray line, which is on the top not but the extreme left of your code, and here if you click a cursor you get a breakpoint. So this red circle, this red point, it means that it is a breakpoint and I can go and add as many as breakpoints I want. There are some code of lines where you cannot actually have the breakpoint. For example, this is the start of the function. If I wanted to place a breakpoint here, I cannot place it here, but I can place it on the bracket, this curly bracket here, which is the start of the which is the real start of this function. If I wanted to put a breakpoint on this class, also is it's not possible. But I can place a breakpoint on any of the line where there is something being happening. Either the assignment to the variable is being happening or there is some API that I have used which is doing some operation. For example, this create section, I can add a breakpoint here. If I add a breakpoint here, it will still get added, but there is no use of adding breakpoint on this kind of line of code because it is just the declaration of a variable where the value assigned is null. If there is no value assigned, then there is no meaning of adding a breakpoint. But if there is a value assigned to that, you can add a breakpoint there. Now, this particular, you can even go and add a breakpoint here, even a breakpoint here. So most of the lines you will able to add the breakpoint, but if you are not able to add or if you get some error out of it, it means that it is not possible to have a breakpoint there. Now the last thing is that again it is a very important feature for debugging purpose, and what you do with these breakpoints is you are going to examine that line of code in detail when you are at debug mode. So if you don't know what is debug mode, you either use the learning assistant for that or you find out my other videos to know what is the debug and how to how to enter into the debug mode. Now maybe your code is very lengthy, you do have lot of lines of code. There is one feature there that you can use which is under debug, is that you can either, if you wanted to manage your breakpoints, so this is something which is very useful for you. So you can use these four different features related to the breakpoint. One is toggle breakpoint, Means if you like there are some disabled breakpoints and there are some enabled breakpoints. So if you wanted to toggle them, you can use this toggle breakpoint. If you wanted to add new breakpoint, you can use this new breakpoint option. If you want to disable all the breakpoints that you have added because you do not want to stop or take a pause in between, you just wanted to run your code thoroughly, then at that point of time you can use disable all breakpoints. The other option is that if you wanted to clean all the breakpoints, you wanted to delete them all, you can use delete all breakpoints. Okay, so this is how it is the important feature, the very useful feature, which is called breakpoints. Here I am introducing a course called C Sharp Essentials for NXOpen Customization and Programming. Enroll now and unlock the power of customization in NX. Don't miss out.